Christ pour out his soul? We could say, why did God do this? Now, it's human nature. Pour out his soul. Maybe we're going here. We could say, why did God? You could say, in human interactions, we subconsciously are always expecting something in return. Now, maybe we could say with Miss Sarah, we called her to come help us with this program. So maybe deep down in her mind, she doesn't even know it, but she's thinking, I did something for you. Now I'm expecting for you to do something for me in return. I don't think she would say that. But most of us, if not all of us, tend to kind of expect something in return, right? I will do this, but will you do this for me? Now, this happens in Christian worlds, but it happens more in non-Christian worlds, right? Governments, right? I will help get you elected if you will vote for what I want, right? There's always this exchange. You know, I could think about me. Lord, I will go to Serbia if you will bless my family. Now, I never said that, but maybe that's something in my mind. Lord, I will serve you if you give me something, right? I will get baptized if there's this transaction, right? So the question to me is, when I read all of what Christ went through, what was in it for him? What does he get? Well, he gets Matt Miller, right? He gets the sinner Dragalube. I mean, not to say anything bad about Dragalube, but what substance does God get for his suffering? Now, I do have a letter I'd like to read you here. We just went to this orphanage, and I have a letter here I want to read you. The letter says here, Dear Matt Miller and Vulcan Baptist Church, I'm writing to tell you how encouraged we were by your visit to the orphanage yesterday. As a matter of fact, I was also a visitor there and had the opportunity to observe your group. The kindness, the joy, and genuine care you showed left a deep impression upon us. I represent a large company in Germany, and we are currently looking to support organizations that have a sincere heart for service. Because of what we witnessed, we would like to donate 50,000 euros to your church. Additionally, we are hosting a work conference in February for several multi-million euro companies. And we were wondering if you and your church members would be willing to come and help serve here. We are simply looking for extra help and friendly faces. How many would say, I'll go help donate my time? It says here, please let us know by the end of next week. We wish you a blessed new year. Signed, sincerely, Santa Claus and Grandpa Frost. So now you know it's a joke, right? Man, sure would have been nice if somebody would have noticed our good deeds, right? Right? So many times that we might do something expecting somebody to notice. I swept the sidewalk. I cleaned up this. Maybe it's for praise, right? Going to an orphanage, can I be honest with you? Nobody really cares. Nobody's really going to give you applause. Can I mention something worse than that? When I used to go to prisons, in the U.S., nobody cared. Nobody used to say, "You go teach the Bible in prisons? Wow, that's awesome." Nobody cared. Nobody donated €5 for me to go to the prisons. You see? So when we look at the expectations of what we do, why do we do it? Why do we pass out flyers for the church in mailboxes? If we're not careful, it'll be so we can grow a church. If we can grow a church, we can have nicer things. We can be a big church in town, right? Sometimes if we're not careful, we have what they call ulterior motives. Did I say it right? Ulterior motives, right? That's like motives that aren't true, like secondary motives. You see? Man, it would be nice to be recognized for our efforts, right? To be in the Serbia Vesti news. Look at this church on what they're doing, right? And if we're not careful, come January 17th, when we try to design this next year, we could be thinking, not out loud, but subconsciously, what could we do that could benefit us? How can we serve the Lord and receive benefit from our service, right? We have to be careful on how we do that, because there's nothing more like Christ than just pouring out our soul and expecting nothing in return. You know, there's nursing homes in Novi Sad. Can I tell you something? Going to a nursing home where there's old people are scary. Sometimes you walk up to an old person in a nursing home and they look at you and just make noises. Scary. But they're on their way out of life. Most of their money is going to go to the place that houses them, or it's going to go to their family. Nobody is going to say thank you for coming, bringing us this Bible message. Here's €1,000. It's really thankless. Nobody in the nursing home is going to come to church. It's just not going to happen. It has no benefit to us. But yet it is an opportunity to pour out ourselves. To benefit us? No. So when we look at the life of Christ, we look at this Isaiah 53, and we see what Christ did. He poured out his soul unto us. And what did he get in return? Rejected, ridiculed, mocked, beaten, and then as a reward, he gets sinners. Sinners who still struggle with sin. Sinners who still fight, who are still jealous, who still lust for the things of the world. That's his reward, right? We ask the question, why did God allow himself to do this? I believe an answer can be found in John chapter 3 in verse 16. For God so loved the world. For God so loved the world. And we have a desire to be like Christ. As a Christian, that should be our desire. To be like Christ. But how's our motives? We do things that might benefit us. But what about this next year? What can we do? Do we want to, maybe you could say, waste our time with another orphanage outreach? You see how I said that? Would we like to waste our time maybe going to an old folks' home and trying to take maybe things that they might need? There's going to be no return on our investment. But you know what? That is Christ-like. To pour out ourselves and expect nothing in return. Sometimes we teach marriage classes here. And one of the things that they teach in marriage classes is a relationship. So me and my wife, to have a good relationship, I'll give 50% as long as you give 50%. That's not a good relationship. Some wise Christians have said this: Lubisha, you give 60% in your marriage and only expect 40%. And Alexandra, she gives 60%, but only expects 40%. Can I tell you, this relationship was pouring out his soul, giving everything he had, and expecting nothing in return. I look forward to this year to be able to do that. We're going to be going to churches. Probably about 50 different churches for this furlough. And there's going to be opportunities for me and my family to do stuff at the church that nobody's going to see, nobody's going to notice. Maybe we get to clean a flower bed. Maybe we'll get to wash some windows, right? Maybe take care of some things that have been let go. Why? So I can be known as the missionary who did all those nice things at the church? Or is it an opportunity to pour ourselves out? Because that is the image of Christ. To be a Christian is to be like Christ. Human motivation. Like I said before, most human actions are motivated by our own self-interests. We often do things because there's a benefit to us, some kind of recognition, some kind of relief from guilt. That's a big one. I feel guilty, so I do something. But in the end, I'm released from my guilt, so I'm benefited. Even good deeds can be driven by personal gain or hidden motives. Maybe I give somebody a ride to the airport. Maybe that, in my mind, is driven by, I hope this church member realizes how much that I give so that they would love me and stay in church. And the more people that stay in church, the better that I look. You see, the psychology that could affect my mind. But if we can clear that off and say, I'm just doing this for the love of Christ. To serve people, to give ourselves to others, to help where it's needed. This is a picture of how Christ wants us to live like him. I read this letter just to show you. In life, I don't know if it's because I was raised on Disney movies. Okay, I don't know if you know what Disney movies are. It's a big thing in America. And they're always about the magical outcome, right? Going to an orphanage and somebody's magically there and likes what you're doing and gives you 50,000 euros. That's a Disney concept, okay? Not true. But if we go about this next year doing things for the hope that something can bless us in some way, Maybe I was thinking of Dragaloop. Maybe he puts out Bibles, or he does something at work, and the hope that maybe he'll be acknowledged by his workers and get pushed to the next level. But in all actuality, it's probably going to hurt him. Oh, you're one of those guys. Yeah, we need leadership, but we don't need someone like you. You see? So we have to be careful. The central question that we have is, what motivated God to do this? To go there? To be mocked? To be ridiculed? Isaiah 53, we find rejection. We find misunderstanding. How many of you have been misunderstood? I didn't say that. That's not who I am. Christ put himself through that willingly. We stumble upon it. He put himself through this willingly. There was no advantage. This is what religions like to do. They like to look at this and say, now we must give him something. We give him our baptism to pay him back. We give him our good works to pay him back. We give him our money to pay him back. But do you understand? The Bible teaches that all our deeds are as filthy, nasty rags. The best things that we can do are still negative. But he still chose to pour out his love. I don't think we can ever actually understand the actual love that Christ showed for us. He received broken people. This was his exchange. He received sin, grief, rejection. And the only explanation for why he did what he did was true, unmanipulated love. Just love. Man, I'll be honest with you. I'll go to the orphanage, and there's just something in my mind that says, maybe some child is about ready to graduate from the orphanage home. And maybe that child will start coming to church, right? It's in the back of my mind. And it's okay to have those thoughts, but truly, to just go, having no expectation, to just show the love of God. We tried to go to Zrenjanin. Nobody comes. I'll finish what I started, but the fact that we can just act out the love of Christ in this world shows us what true Christianity is. I'm thankful for all of our supporters in the U.S., right, who donate to help keep the lights on here, to help keep this church functioning, right, to help give us Bibles and material. And I know every one of those churches, they have no expectations. They just want to be able to pour out their love to Serbian people, to Russian people, to Chinese people, to whoever comes, to whoever is here. They just say, we want to pour out like Christ poured out. Right? We ought to be the same. No matter what we do, we ought to be vessels of love of Christ to pour out ourselves into this world. Jesus was born in humility, not honor. He came knowing rejection would follow him. God gave his son knowing exactly what the cost was. So we're going to close. But as you prepare to enter to this new year, I want you to begin to think, not that you haven't, But let's begin to think as Christians, not as deal makers, not as, well, I will go to church. I will do my part if God, no. What will God give me in return? I'm sure I was thinking of Sarah's pastor. If he would have known that Matthew died, yes, of cancer, if that pastor would have known that his son would have died with cancer, you know what, God, I've only got 16 years with my son. If you don't mind, I will wait. And I'm going to spend intense time with my family. And then after, I'll maybe serve you. What would we know? What would we do? But I believe that pastor probably would have said, no matter what, I'm going to pour my time, my soul out to be used for him. So in conclusion, true Christianity does not ask, what do we gain? What do we gain from serving? It looks for opportunities to pour out Christ's love with no expectations in return. I had Milos. We were there at the orphanage. And some of my kids, they struggled a little bit. It's a lot of children. A lot of difficulties. And maybe they weren't winning. You see, in our house, when we play games, there's a 1 in 5 chance that they're going to win something. But there, it was 1 in 50, it felt like, chance. So they're having a hard time winning, having difficulties. I began to speak with some of them and explain these children's lives. They don't have a mama. I think Alexandra said some of them do have family, but none of them want to take care of the child. And so this is their life. And so I told them, I said, listen, this time may not be for us. Maybe we can serve these kids. Why don't you help me serve them? And he said, yeah, okay. What can we do, Dad? And let's go pick up trash together, right? And you know what happened at the end? There were kids, orphan kids, who also helped clean. And at the end, those kids got prizes. But you know what my kids didn't get at the end? They didn't get no prizes for helping. Milos, did you get a prize for cleaning up? No. But you know, when he first entered into serving, he wasn't asking for a prize. That's the Christian spirit. That's the Christ-like spirit. Whether we are recognized, whether we get rewarded with some service or some tag, no. This year, as we look for places to serve, let it be out of a pure heart to say, Lord, here am I. Use me in great ways or use me in inconspicuous ways. So, I don't know how to say a better Russian than inconspicuous. Nezametnya. Neprimetnya. Nah, it's okay. Oh, and I want to constantly check myself. Why do I do what I do? Why am I at church today? Why am I going to clean the church floors? Why am I going to take somebody to the airport? Because I want someone to like me. But what if they don't like me? To just pour out ourselves for others. I know it's very difficult to do. It's extremely difficult to do. It's anti-human, you could even say. But that's the Christ-like spirit. He was bruised. He gave himself. He came in the form of a baby, of no reputation for us. Right? So as Ephraim works with these children in Belgrade, I don't know how that's funded. Maybe he has to spend money himself. as we look for things for us to do, let there not be a catch. Let's be careful for the catches. Now, we hope to go help Miss Sarah someday. But if we do, we don't want there to be, okay, Miss Sarah, we helped you, but maybe there's a benefit for us somewhere. Because God never did that. He poured himself out because God so loved the world. True love, biblical love, is sacrificial love. If my wife doesn't cook me one dinner in my entire life, if she doesn't fold my laundry, I'm sounding very chauvinistic here, but if she doesn't do any of these things, well, then I'm not going to love you like you want. No. True love just loves. Right? And as we show true love to our neighbors, the ones who have been mean to us, the ones who have called us names, secta, whatever, you can still pour out yourself to him. Because that's exactly what he did. Those people, when you read Isaiah 53, he was bruised. Who bruised him? The person that bruised Jesus was the same person that Jesus poured himself out to. Do you see? So even if somebody has hurt you, has wounded you, has caused you pain, the Christ-like thing is to what? Just keep pouring. I was going to do an illustration today. I was going to bring a trash can up here. All right? And I was going to have my coffee. And I was going to have my coffee prepared the way that I love it. Right? With half coffee, half milk, 10 spoons of sugar. Okay, maybe not 10 spoons. And take that beautiful looking coffee and just pour it out for the benefit of the trash can. It'd be crazy, wouldn't it? But that's what Christ did for us. You think about King David, the thing that he desired so much, the water from the well in his hometown. And his men, the water from the well, like a well is where you, King David. His men loved David so much. They went out and they got that water from his favorite well of his childhood, and brought it to David. David took that water. These men risked their lives for it. He said, man, my love for you guys, for him, is more important than what I desire the most. And so in front of all of his men, he took that water, he poured it out. Gone. Into the dirt. Never to be returned. Man, when we get back and we go to the U.S. and they say, Matt Miller, what success do you have? What has been going on in Serbia? And I tell them, well, this is what we have. And they might ask this question. Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I say, yes. It's worth to pour out our souls. Praise the Lord for you guys. Without you guys, well, there would be no you guys, right? But the fact that we have opportunity to serve you, we can serve each other and the community around us. Come January 17th, I would like to ask our Russian people here, how could we do better reaching the Russian community? I want you to think about that. What are some things that you would like to do this year to pour out yourselves to Russian-speaking people? Also, what can we do to pour out ourselves more to Serbian-speaking people? What can we do? It's just a good time that we can come together and ask ourselves how to be Christian in this modern world. You see? Praise the Lord. God is good. Let's be done. Let's have a song, and we'll be dismissed. And let's all stand together.